Hi, today I'm going to do a music lessons video for you on Body and Soul, the great standard that everybody plays on every jam session around the world. It's a song that we all learn pretty much early on, I think, because it gets called a lot on sessions. It's a beautiful ballad. Sometimes if we hear too much and in different, as with all the standards, we've heard so many bad versions of it that we sometimes forget what a great song it is. So it's a song that I have played also with my teachers in a lot of lessons, so I saw how they deal with the harmonies. It's a song that comes up quite often when I teach with my students, and yeah, I've spent a lot of time with it, and I thought it would be nice to share a couple of things that I found out about this song, because as often of course, sometimes it's nice to be super open, and in terms of not knowing is sometimes also an opportunity for a cool approach, a fresh approach to a song. But I found for me, the more I know about a song, the more choices and the more things that I have more options for expressing my view on the song. Let's listen to the first recording of it. It's from 1930, and it's by Jack Hylton in his orchestra. I think it's the earliest version that I found, and it got recorded right away from lots of different orchestras, singers, and then instrumentalists. Of course, Coleman Hawkins is an important version. But let's listen to the original, and you can read along with the sheet that I made. It has a nice little verse as well, which I didn't write down. Nice how it moves through different centers.
My heart is sad and lonely. I wait and sigh for you, dearly. I tell you I feel it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing, and wondering why it be you're wronging. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turn away romance. Are you pretending? Don't say it's the ending. I wish I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a hell you're making. You know I'm yours for just the taking. I gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul.
All right, so you see how simple it actually is. It couldn't be more simple. I mean, it could still be more simple, but you really get to the bare bones version with this one. And a thought that I just had is that the bridge, everybody keeps saying, oh, and then it modulates to D and then to C, but in a way you could see the whole bridge as D7 or D going to G7, going to C. And then with this version it's a bit weird, because we get D7, D flat 7, C7, and then B flat 7, which is the only version that I know where this ending is. Usually we have the C, B7 going to B flat 7, which kind of makes sense because it's right. It takes you back to E flat. since the bridge is so easy and so plain in this, right? Sometimes if you start at one place and you end up in the same place, you could in a way almost erase what's in between, because you ended up in the same place. So you kind of can take out that equation a little bit. It sounds like this then. You see? So then it becomes super easy. Then it was just, the bridge was just a way to get back to the subdominant, the 4 chord, which is also here, and in most versions, the 2 chord, you know, E flat minor. But I see E flat minor, or the 2 chord, minor 2, I see it as a way to express the subdominant, so G flat major. Also this, you know, before you were already in D flat, or you know, you were with the tonic. Still tonic, and also here, this is also the tonic, but with a, in German we say verminderter Vorhalt. I don't know, actually I should learn what the English version, English word for this is, but this is a diminished chord which resolves to the tonic. We've heard this so many times, you know, but it's still the tonic, it's just the color of the tonic, to me. So I've written E diminished, but it's actually in a way it's D flat diminished with the E in the bass, right? And B flat minor is also tonic for me. I've done this in a very old music lessons video for you already, so some of you might remember this, but this is how I break down a song like this. And also D is the D major in D flat, you know, the major chord on the flat 9, is also a way of saying it's the minor 4, you know, F sharp or G flat. And also in German we say neapolitanischer Sechstakkord. I should learn what it means in English. But it's usually in a major key, it's the major chord 1/2 step above, which, yeah, often you hear this with pieces that end like this. So that's also how I think about the D in the bridge. All right, what I liked about this version is the very, very simple. Also with this version, it doesn't really have anything in the A sections that brings us back to the next A section. So all the A's are the same, which is nice if you want to learn a song. Okay, let's go to listen to John Coltrane's version. I'm sure you all know this. Maybe you don't, which is fine. But this is an important version, I think, from Coltrane's sound. He also, from this record, he also recorded it on Live in Seattle for years or 3 years after. I'm not sure right now. So 65. Very, very open version. I can really recommend this one also. But we're going to listen to the one from Coltrane Sound and read with my sheet here. You see the beautiful intro. That's how I tried to write it down. I'm sure there was less on the sheet from John Coltrane. If you've seen sheets of his, handwritten sheets, very, very little information. So that's why I didn't add a lot of options on the chords, because he also doesn't really do that as much. Body and Soul by John Coltrane. I should have written down double feel on this sheet, because I wanted to write it down in the same grid as the original version. So that's 2, 3, 4. He changes the melody here a little bit to fit the chord. I love these little inserts. Hold on, maybe I've written something wrong, because I've written E minor, A7. It should really be F minor, B flat 7. So maybe in the thing that I share with you guys in this post, it's already corrected. But you'll see me now realizing that he did a 2/5 going back to E flat minor at the end of the first A. So I'll do a first ending and second ending. There we have E minor. Now he integrates his Coltrane changes third ending is also F minor, or maybe F7 sharp 9, E flat, going back to E flat minor. So right now we already can ask ourselves, how can he do this? And why does it still sound like the song? Of course, he uses the melody for us as a guide, and also he uses the basic functions of the harmony to guide us through his very out there version. The basic harmony is his foundation to go, to the stars, basically. You see this here in the chord that maybe in the beginning captures my imagination and interest also at first. Of course, we love this, but then 3, the D flat augmented over A, which is nice because in the whole tone scale, starting at D flat, there's no A flat. So you have this beautiful little tension, which then resolves back to. And then there we have it. It resolves back to D flat major because of voice leading. You know, in the version before we had, or in all the Body and Soul versions, we have this diminished thing that resolves to the tonic, and the augmented thing which resolves back to the tonic. It's the same thing, but just basic voice leading from a different place. So if something resolves like that, you can use it as a dominant color. Also, it's connected to D flat. Of course, D flat augmented is connected to D flat. And also, it's connected to A and F. But Coltrane puts it on top of A flat, which also gives us kind of a sus flat 9 sound. Also, minor 4. And then there's the bridge where he inserts Coltrane changes, which is just beautiful how it does it. Somewhere, if you have a 2-5, I'm playing a 2-5-1 in C major, D minor, and then G7, C major 7. You can put them there. So from the D minor, from your 2 chord, you go a half step up, and then play a dominant chord, and then start the circle like that. Funny thing is that you arrive at the C major. I'm going to do it again after this. You arrive at the C major two beats later than you would usually arrive there. So you arrive on the 3 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, of the second bar, right? So now instead of D minor, 2, G7, 4, and then C major, I'm going to play D minor, E flat 7, A flat major, B7, E major, G7, and then we have C major, right? Let's do it one more time. D minor, E flat 7, A flat major, B7, E major, G7, C, right? So that's what he does, what he's doing here. You can start the cycle on a minor chord, but you can also start it on a major chord. That's what he does in the second system, right? In the second system of the bridge. So he starts on the tonic, then he doesn't go up a half step, he goes up a minor third. He's already in it. F7, B major, B flat major, D flat 7, G flat major, A7, D minor, D major. Instead of all those, it's a little tangent about Coltrane changes here, but instead of the dominant chords, you can also just go down in whole tones in the left hand or in the bass. Play the same chords, but you can play the same chords, but you can play the same chords. Right? So, now instead of the dominant chords, you can also go just go down in whole tones in the left hand or in the bass. Play the same chords, F7 with C in the bass. D major, F7 over C, B flat major, D flat 7 over A flat, G flat major, A7 over E, and then you're there. More basing is if you have just, it's basically going down the whole tone scale in the bass, and every other chord is a major chord and a minor chord. D minor, sorry, D major, C minor, B flat major, A flat minor, G flat major, E minor, D major. Alright, little tangent about Coltrane changes and how he applies them here on Body and Soul. Let's go to maybe the one that's very connected to this one is the Herbie Hancock version from the beautiful soundtrack Round Midnight. And maybe it's a mixture of Dexter's version, which he also played at that time. He also plays it on Homecoming, his record. Yeah, he does the same thing, the same vamp as Coltrane, but not with A flat in the bass, but with E flat. E flat. I love that he does this. John McLaughlin. Basically do the same, almost the same as Coltrane. They don't anticipate the chords like Coltrane does. They play it more on the beat. It's a bit different than with Coltrane, with the E minor. Still. That's nice. Why can we do this here? D flat major going to G flat minor instead of what everybody plays usually is G flat 7, right? Also, they changed the melody a little bit because it wouldn't fit with the melody. doesn't fit with the melody, so they have to change the melody, but still it fits into the harmonic rhythm of the song. We go from 1 to 4, but not to 4 7. We go to 4 minor. And that also is a way to get to F minor, which is D flat major. Right? So it has all these minor chords that move chromatically. You could also add 5 chords after that. And then those dominants, they actually belong together. So G flat minor, going to C flat, B7, F minor, B flat 7, right? You see the B7 goes to B flat 7, to A7, to A flat 7. That's a way to look at that, maybe. Yeah. Let's continue with another favorite version of mine. Oh yeah, from Solo Monk, Monk Alone. This is pretty out there, what he does with the song. Also, any minute now, I could get a call from a car that's bringing me my next record. So I might have to interrupt the video, but maybe I'll show you the record then, if you're still listening. This is already 27 minutes or so. Thanks for being here and for doing this with me. So Monk does, as always, beautiful, interesting, and very, very original things. And you look at them and you listen to them, and at first you think, how is this possible? Usually there's a very, very logical explanation for it, which makes sense harmonically, totally. And sometimes he does a lot of different ways to look at one chord at the same time. So sometimes you get things like a major 7 and like a major 7 chord with the minor 7 in there and stuff like that. Yeah, let's listen to it. Bridge is more or less like we know it. Except for this one chord which is coming up. Stop the video. So the question is, why can Monk do all these things? I mean, it's always the question when you listen to him, but still, like G7, C7 going to D flat major. How is this possible? And this is actually how it sounds for me when I listen to this version. It's like I can hear Monk thinking like, okay, so if I can get from G7 to C7 to D flat major, how does that change all the different relationships in the harmonic structure, right? And this goes back, I just played it, this goes back to this, I think. The diminished resolving to the tonic, the diminished on the tonic resolving to the tonic. Because if you go one half step lower from the tonic, from the diminished, you have C7 flat 9. You know? And this realization he just anticipates through the G7. Same here. He goes to F minor, but F minor is in a way it's D flat major. Although in the original we have E flat minor there. And here we have, instead of the B flat, we have G half diminished, which is something that is in many of his pieces, where he where is this? And then we have A flat major, C minor, F7 going normally back to, but he, instead of going back to B flat minor, he goes to G half diminished, and then E flat 7. He does something similar here. Yeah, there, at the end of the A section. Where the G half diminished also just becomes a 2 for the C7, which brings us back to D flat major. Right? But what is the beginning? Which sounds like in a way it sounds like the cycle of fifths but backwards. You know what I mean? Or like a sequence of dominants or chords but backwards, right? If you look at it here, the D flat sus, D flat 7 is G7, and am I completely bonkers now? You know what I mean? D7 going to G7 going to C minor or C half diminished, but it's reversed. Anyway, I don't know. Also, oh yeah, forget about the D flat 7 for a minute, and you just have C minor or C half diminished going to D7 which is supposed to go to G. We do all these things because we want to go to D flat major in the third bar, right? That's how it makes sense to me. Also, the first chord of the song is E flat minor. Monk maybe thinks of it as E flat minor 6 and puts the 6 in the bass, and then you have C half diminished. Maybe Monk listened to the original, and therefore instead of doing, if you look back to the original, G over B, which is just another way of saying G7. Monk kind of moves it around a little bit, saying it's B minor. Nice lift from the B minor to D minor. They are connected through the relationship of minor thirds. This version. We have more. It's going to be a long video. Let's listen to Freddie Hubbard. Very cool version, arranged by, I think, by Wayne Shorter on the great album The Body and the Soul. My favorite track on this is I Got It Bad. But they also do Body and Soul, and check out how the intro, which is really nice and super short, is connected to the basic material, melodic material of the song. Do-dee-do-dee. Check it out. there it always sounds to me like he's already in the 5th bar or something. Also here, this arrangement has to do with the relationship of minor thirds. You see it in those minor chords in the 2nd bar, and then the major chords in the 5th bar, which is cool too. So why can we do this? I already explained, like, the relationship of minor thirds is deep. It connects chords together which at first don't seem like they belong together. We have E minor, E flat minor here, and then sounds very nice. The melodic note is usually the 6th in the original key, right? The 6th in D flat is B flat. And then, but if he goes to C minor here, it becomes the 7th, which sounds nice. And then it goes even further down to A minor, D7, which everybody plays on sessions, like. Right? Wayne or Freddie or both go a step further, which is saying, okay, E flat minor and A minor are related through tritone. You can substitute, you can substitute the chords. They're related. But there's also a relationship between that, which is the minor third relationship, and that is something that we can utilize. We could even go further and play F sharp minor, right? So we could try this as an exercise. Let's say we want to play, as we've done before, a 2-5-1 in C major, which is D minor, G7, C major, right? All right. So instead of G7, we can play A flat minor, D flat 7. Right? So, but there's something in between, which is thing is, like, sometimes if we play this and then this, everybody knows what's coming. We ourselves also know what's coming. We might gravitate towards the things that we often play. But if we play this, this can give us new inspiration. of course, it brings other difficulties with it. But they are connected. So it's the same thing with right? All of that in a way is E flat minor. Of course, Monk plays in the original. C diminished. All right, and then he does the same thing, going back to Freddie Hubbard and Wayne Shorter here. They do the same thing, or basic principle in a way, with the major chords. And that is nice because as in other versions, we've heard instead of the E diminished in the fourth bar, people play E minor A7, right? And that's the cool thing about Wayne, I think, because he always says like jazz is to him means I dare you. And in a moment where in D flat major somebody plays E minor A7, I can hear Wayne saying, I dare you to pursue this road. And that's what he does. He goes to D major, which kind of pre-announces the bridge, right? And then he already, again, since he is in D major, applies the relationship of minor thirds, goes to B minor, which brings us in a very, very cool way back to C minor. To take this chord for a second. So D major, B major to C. To me, the B major is a way of saying G major. Like it's a nicer version of B augmented to C minor. It's more like. That's how I think about it. Yeah. Okay, let's continue with last version for today. Bill Evans' version from the great album Affinity. One of my all-time favorite albums. You can go back to the episode with Mark Johnson where I talk about this album. All right. The cool thing about all these versions is I can see how everything relates to the original, but also how they relate to each other. I know that Bill Evans was also influenced by John Coltrane's harmonic concept. So I can see certain things in the pedal, of course, and in other harmonic choices here that take me back to Coltrane. Let's listen to this version. Where is it? Oh, here. Beautiful intro, creates an instant vibe. And it basically says A flat sus and D sus, where we just arrived. This was recorded in the same studio as Kind of Blue. beautiful thing is here, E flat minor over A flat creates another version of saying A flat 7, and therefore Bill Evans, who was a master of colors, he can use different colors for the A flat 7, right? You know, it's a sus sound, sus 4 flat 9 sound. And that's a cool thing, you can just add that little voice leading and still resemble the function, basic function there. Then you can go back to the A flat 7, going back to D flat major. That's a beautiful thing for me, and yeah, just the way they have a fluid way of playing this song. It goes in and out from reharmonization and spontaneous way of playing the melody, almost like the solo is already happening and then you get back into the melody. It's very, very beautiful. And even if they play variations on the melody, I still hear the melody. It's very cool. And then there's this beautiful outro. A flat 7 and then coda. Thing, last chord. Although it should be major, it's minor. You hear it a lot also in My Funny Valentine on the great Miles Davis album from 1964. Yeah. Many versions of this song, and there are of course other versions that I could also have transcribed a little bit for you, but I think these are very, very special ones with distinctive different areas, and all of them combined is nice because as I said before, I like to have different choices. And also I think I explained this in a couple of other videos and also interviews where I think about this is the original, and then you put this on there, and you have the other one on there, and you have the other one on there, and then you look at it, and you get like a universal version of all of those combined. Let me try one thing. It's not going to be easy, but I found another version by Sonny Rollins from an album from the early 60s, where he plays Body and Soul unaccompanied, a solo version of Body and Soul. So I'm going to try and play along with him and comp for him, just to end this little episode for you. All right, thank you. I hope you found this useful, and for me it was great to really look at that stuff again and also write it down once, because usually I don't like to write down changes for standards. I just like to accumulate them within me and then just have them there somewhere. Because sometimes if I feel like I write them down, they're like set in stone. And for some people, if you put standard chord symbols in front of them for a standard that they also could have learned by ear, they're gonna play the changes all the time. And I kind of like the flexibility of not having to play the same formula all the time. But since I was looking at very distinctive versions here, it felt okay to write them down for you. All right, Sonny Rollins. That's not easy, you know, because sometimes it's hard to hear maybe what he's hearing in his head. And the beautiful thing of this recording is, I haven't heard this in such a long time, is like how he sometimes speeds up and then slows down and kind of really takes his time with feeling out the melody of the song. And sometimes then things need to be faster or slower according to his feelings and energy. And of course, that's way easier to feel it out when you're in the same room with a living person. But that's something that's an exercise that I really like to do. Find like solo recordings of my favorite artists. It could also be like a solo cadenza at the end, or like with Coltrane, I did this a lot with I Want to Talk About You. There's several recordings where he plays a cadenza at the end. And he usually goes through the song, and you can just play with him or for him if you play an accompaniment to him. You could also do it as a you know, if you're also another horn player, you could also do that, comping for him that way. But yeah, it's not easy. But it's a great exercise for your ear and to be able to follow somebody. And also, you saw me get lost, and he brought me back in, you know. Anyways, thanks for watching these, and send me more questions if you want. Otherwise, I'll also come up with topics for you. Take care. Bye-bye.